So this is a little bit more of a vulnerable vlog, I guess. Today is day, what is it, 5, I think, in the hospital. I have 5 more days, 5, yeah, because it was 10 days. I think it's 5. Okay, look, this room has no windows. All sense of time has just been completely obliterated, okay? So, anyway, I think it's day 5. But anyway, so, I, so this is my second hospital stay this year, and I'm not sure if I touched it on the last one or not, but this happens every single time I'm in the hospital since early 2018. And that is, even after all this time, um, 2018, 2026, like it's been 8 years now since Brooke died. And every single time I'm in the hospital, all I think about is wishing she was here. As bad as this is going to sound in my day to day life, I think about it sometimes, but it doesn't cross my mind every day anymore. It's she'll always be in here, but it doesn't cross my mind every day. It generally I am able to, if I have those feelings, I'm able to distract myself, and it's different at home. But every time I'm in the hospital, I think about how much easier it used to be when she was here, because we would spend pretty much the entire admission, whether it be her or me, on FaceTime together and just keeping each other company. There'd be times where we weren't even talking to each other. I would just like set my phone up on FaceTime and we would hang out and do our own thing, but we had each other. There would be times, the one I remember the most, which is my last admission before she passed, I'm pretty sure, was at the end of 2017 when I had that horrific anaphylaxis thing where I almost died from the dental surgery. And she was in the hospital at the time, and I didn't know at the time that it was the start of the decline, but she was having her own issues. She was on oxygen. She just was not doing very good. And so I've been trying to help her the days prior, and then I went in for that surgery, and I just assumed, everybody assumed, that I'd be going home that night, be a couple days of recovery, and everything would be fine, right? What actually ended up happening was I stopped breathing on the surgery table and pretty much almost died. And so I remember being in the hospital, but I was so swollen, I couldn't talk, right? And me, I don't know why, maybe it was because I was a teenager, maybe just all the trauma, I didn't want to see my own face. So I didn't want to see how swollen I was. I didn't look at my own face for like a week until I could talk and drink and stuff, and then I would look at it. When people would take pictures of me, I would put a mask on because I didn't want to see it. So she would be on FaceTime, but I couldn't talk. I didn't want to see my face. So I would have either a mask on and just have her as company, or I would have FaceTime up, which it still makes me kind of laugh right now that why we did FaceTime instead of regular phone calls. I can't explain it. We just did when I explained this next part. I would have her on FaceTime, and then I would be texting her while she was talking back to me. And mind you, she was having her own struggles, right? She was sick, and but she made sure that I was felt support. She made sure that in my scariest times that she was there, and late into the night, early in the morning, didn't matter. And I'm very thankful that I was able to give that back to her as well in the last 6 months of her life. But she was always there. Whenever I was in the hospital, she was always there. It never felt lonely. And my family's around, my friends are around, which is very helpful, but there was something different with her. It never felt lonely. It felt less scary. It felt like we were in it together versus just and it's something that I really miss. And the other part of it is, unfortunately, since she passed, I have dealt with trauma, and I'm glad that she doesn't know about that, because I don't think she would like me feeling that way, but I can't help it. So sometimes when I'm sitting here and, I'm definitely not as sick as she was, and I know I'll be going home in 5 days, knock on wood, and all that, I sit and I think about reading those texts from her, and I'm not even going to go into all the detail here because I don't want you guys to have to hear about that kind of stuff, but reading all those texts from her at the end and thinking about how much she must have been laying in the hospital suffering and what was going through her head, and Was she scared those final days? Was she at peace? Was she, what was she thinking when she knew her life was coming to an end? And I ponder those questions, and I'll never probably know until it's my time and I see her again. But so that runs through my mind, which is something that, again, doesn't typically run through my mind except for like around June 15th, which is when she died. I don't typically think about it. But when I'm here, it's like it's all around you. You can't escape it. And for me now, that translates over into my life now, where like my friend Leo, who has CF, if he's in the hospital, I freak out. Even when it's just like an admission like this, like we're CF exacerbation, right? We have it, you know? And my brain goes to Brooke and losing her. And is this going to happen again? This can't happen again. And I know that it's related to CF because like when my other family's in the hospital, or even when Mariah's in the hospital, I worry, I get anxiety, I get a couple panic attacks, I get like sleepless nights, but I don't get it to the same level of immediately assuming that, you know, this is it, I'm going to lose another person, like I do with him. So, yeah, anyway, I gotta go. I forget I can pause these things, so now I'm going to have to edit it, but respiratory walked in to, waiting for a bed to do treatment. But, yeah, so every time I'm in the hospital, it creates this bubble. And it's not all the time. Like, I sleep, I eat, I watch YouTube, I read books, I chill out, and I don't think about it 24/7. But I definitely think about it like almost every single day versus at home where it doesn't cross my mind very much. So yeah, I think that probably it will be with me for the rest of my days on this earth. Hopefully, hopefully, as bad as this sounds, hopefully it will be with me for a very long time, right? Because that means I'm still alive. But yeah, just a bit of a background on like, honestly, the mental strain of being in the hospital is harder than the physical strain, right? Because the physical strain is why you're there. And today is actually one of the best days I've had. Yesterday was the worst. Today was one of the best. Yesterday I had, well, you're on a CF page, so I'm going to give you some TMI. Yesterday I had some bowel constipation issues and pain, and then I had to drink an entire bottle of magnesium citrate, and it finally kicked in at about, I don't know, 10 a.m. this morning, and it hasn't stopped yet, but I'm not in pain anymore, so let's just say I didn't know that much excrement could come out of a person in one day. So had that going on, and then I've had air hunger going on, but they gave me prednisone again, which I've been on so much prednisone this year. But that took away the air hunger, gave me energy back, and so today is like one of the days I've been feeling the best, to be honest, physically. And I have 5 more days in a windowless room, and space and time and day and night has no meaning anymore. Speaking of space, I did enjoy watching the astronauts come home last night, so that was a highlight. But anyway, I'm on a tangent now. So anyway, but yeah, so personally though, I prefer to be the one in the hospital, as weird as that sounds, because for me, I know mentally I handle that better than if it's a loved one in the hospital, because I don't have that same kind of like freak out reaction. So anyway, that's my thoughts, and I just know that Brooke will always, she's always here. There's always a space for her right here, and as long as I live, I'll carry her with me, and hopefully one day I'll get to hug her, because, you know, CF kept us apart, but there's no CF in heaven, so hopefully one day we'll get to hug and never be separated again. But for now, carry her with me, and keep grinding through this hospital stay to get back home to Tux and daylight, because, you know, there's this thing called the sun, but I'm not sure that this is my sun. So